Hello everybody, this is a video of the neck reset and bolt-on conversion for my Yamaha FG700S guitar. I did this because I got it off of Craigslist and the action was way too high. So I apologize in advance for not having the section where I took the neck off and I steamed it off with the cappuccino machine. That was my first pass with that cappuccino machine, and it kind of really scared me because I burned my hand just touching the rubber hose that connects to that needle. So that tells you that's no joke. If the fittings were to come loose and spray steam, like that would be a quick trip to the ER probably. Here I am applying heat to the tine, to the section of the fretboard that sits over the body. It's good to pet the guitar now and then and just try to keep it calm. The heat will melt the glue, and that will let my painter's knife slide all the way under that portion of the neck there to remove it. There is a truss rod in the middle, so it's actually not going to go all the way across. But it will soften, and the painter's knife will start to go under. And try not to bend it up. I did that a little bit, and the end of the fretboard bent up, and I had to bend it back down later. Hello everybody. If you buy guitars off of Craigslist, you know that quite a few of them are in need of a neck reset. The action is too high, and the truss rod can't help it. Lowering the saddle is not going to get you there, shaving the bridge. So I kind of wanted to buy one of these cheap guitars and see if I could do a quick neck reset on it, where you saw the neck off and then you bolt it back on. So I got this Yamaha FG700S. Once I started looking at it, I thought this guitar is just too nice to saw the neck off. So I did the traditional steaming of the neck. I got that off, and I'm going to convert this to a bolt-on. One of the first things that will have to happen is the geometry of the dovetail will need to be changed, and the wing, or the triangle shape that this normally has, the edges will need to be chiseled down. So and also on the inside here, these wings, or the triangle shape, will need to be chiseled down too, because I want to be able to attach the neck straight on like that and not have to go down. The normal dovetail inserts like that, but I want to be able to come straight in and straight out, since I'm going to be putting holes that have to line up on here. I did the chiseling earlier, but just to show you what I did, I went along like this to take that wing off. I actually drew a line 2 millimeters in that gave me a guide from which to chisel, and I think I ended up doing this 2 times, which would be 4 millimeters each side times 2 sides. So I reduced the width by a total of 8 millimeters on the neck, just going along like that, and the same over here. And then I also repeated the process on the body, where I took the chisel and shaved off 2 millimeters at a time this edge. So I believe I made 2 passes, which would be 2 times 4 millimeters times 2 would be 8 millimeters in total. And it was incredibly easy. One of the true joys of life is to have a sharpened chisel, and you're using it in a situation where it just cuts through wood like butter. It's a wonderful thing. I did sharpen my chisel using 400 and 800 grit sandpaper. Here's how I sharpen my chisel. I'm sure this is not the best way, but it seems to work pretty good for what I'm doing. But I take the chisel and I lay it in down like this with the flat side up, and you adjust it until it's tight. And then I look very carefully how this bottom angled edge meets the surface of the marble slab and the sandpaper, and I look for that to be for there to be very little gap, but you don't want any gap on the front side, obviously. But I adjust this. You adjust this knob right here, and back and forth until this angle looks very tight. And then I do this on marble. It's a very flat surface. You want a very flat surface for this. And I start out with the 400, and I just drag it back like that about 5 or 10 times, being careful to apply consistent pressure. And then I do it with the 800, and then when I get done doing that, you take it out of this thing. I don't even know what this thing is called, but I guess it's a chisel sharpening device of some sort. And then I repeat the same thing flat. Make sure you're pressing this flat to get the back edge registered. And when I get done, I get incredibly improved performance. So here are the holes that I drilled for the bolt-on neck. This material was very difficult to drill through. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. Maybe it's the lid. I used a boring bit. I don't know if that's a mistake or not, but it certainly was hard driving through there, which concerned me a little bit. Here is the neck and the holes there. It's important that those holes be drilled straight, and I can't fit this in my drill press. So I bought one of these from Stu Mack for about $300, and I'm just kidding. I like Stu Mack. When you do business with luthier shops over many years, sometimes things go wrong, but whenever there's a mistake, they always treat me really well. So I really like Stu Mack. So this is the way it works. Is I just see the lines on there. I just line it up with the heel, and there are my drilling holes. So I since it slid on me and the holes are a little crooked, I need to make a more robust jig. So the guitar's back together. The neck is held on with the bolts. I noticed a crack in the heel that may have been due to me yanking the neck around during the steaming off of the neck. So I filled that with thin CA, the watery super glue, and clamped it. Then I did some cleanup where the super glue ran a little bit. I have a much lower action now that I've reset the neck, and my high E at the 12th fret, the height is 57 thousandths, that's 0.057. The low E is at 0.098, that's 98 thousandths. The intonation is good. The low action is very important if you tend to try to play fast stuff high up on the neck, play sweep picking or hammering. It's actually quite essential, as well as practicing. The instrument has to be able to be fast up here. I notice a lot of skilled luthiers who do very good neck resets. They go to all that trouble, and afterwards on the video you see them playing a G. Well, a low G chord like that will work on any guitar, even if the action is bad. The true test is, can you play up high, can you hammer? And on this one, I can. And the sweep picking is better. I'm sorry, but I just can't do that on a guitar with a high action. So this was my very first time doing a neck reset. Not my first time adding bolts, but this is my first time doing a neck reset, and it was a success. It was just barely a success. It seemed like it almost went wrong a couple of times when the jig slipped and my holes are not straight, but that worked out. Fixing the heel crack, that was something else I had to do, and the cleanup. And also the portion of the fretboard over the body, the tongue here, it seems that I bent it up a little bit while I had it really hot and I was separating it from the top. So I had to spend a little time bending it back down, and also I had to create a little bit of a down ramp from like the octave, 12th fret, down to the hole. I know this is common in some guitars where the fret leveling actually goes lower, so I had to do some of that to get it to play right way up high in case you wanted to play up here. So so that's it. Thanks.